Welcome to True Crime Cases, where we dive deep into the most unsettling aspects of human nature. In today's episode, we unravel the shocking story of a groom who vanished on his wedding night, revealing hidden secrets about the bride. Michael Anderson, a 32-year-old software engineer, and Olivia Hartley, a 28-year-old elementary school teacher, had just exchanged vows in a magnificent ceremony at the historic Armel Mission Basilica. This beautiful church, known for its stunning Spanish colonial architecture, set a romantic stage for what many guests described as a fairy tale wedding. Yet, this fairy tale would soon take a dark turn. As the sun dipped below the Pacific Ocean, casting a golden hue over the reception at the luxurious Carmel Valley Ranch, guests celebrated the newlyweds with joy and excitement. Michael and Olivia, high school sweethearts who had been together for over a decade, seemed perfectly in love. Their affectionate glances and stolen kisses were a clear sign of their happiness, which was evident to everyone around them. Around 11:30 p.m., as the party began to wind down, Michael left to use the restroom. This was the last time anyone saw him. When he didn't return after 20 minutes, Olivia, growing worried, asked her brother to check on him. The restroom was empty, and a quick search of the venue turned up no sign of Michael. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. At first, guests and family thought it might be a prank or that Michael had simply stepped out for a walk to clear his mind after the excitement. But as the hours passed with no sign of the groom, concern turned into full-blown panic. Olivia, still in her wedding dress, paced anxiously, her mascara running down her face as she repeatedly tried to call Michael on his cell phone. By 3 a.m., with Michael still missing, Olivia made the difficult choice to contact the Monterey County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Sarah Martinez arrived at the scene, her face serious as she assessed the unusual situation. A missing groom on his wedding night was far from normal, and the experienced officer knew immediately this case was anything but ordinary. The next few days saw an extensive search operation across Carmel and the surrounding areas. Search and rescue teams scoured nearby beaches and hiking trails, while divers explored the coastal waters, fearing the worst. Flyers with Michael's photo and description were posted all over town, and local news stations continuously updated the public on the case. Detective James Reeves, a seasoned investigator with the Monterey County Sheriff's Office, began digging into the couple's background. On the surface, Michael and Olivia seemed to have the perfect relationship. They were both well-regarded in their community, active in local charities, and appeared devoted to each other. However, as Detective Reeves would soon discover, beneath this seemingly perfect exterior lay a web of secrets and lies. The first crack in this perfect facade appeared when Reeves interviewed Michael's best friend and best man, Ryan Thompson. Ryan uneasily revealed that Michael had confided in him just days before the wedding. According to Ryan, Michael had discovered something troubling about Olivia's past and was contemplating calling off the wedding. Ryan didn't know the specifics, only that Michael had been deeply troubled and conflicted. This revelation cast a new light on the case. Was Michael's disappearance voluntary? Had he gotten cold feet and decided to run away, or was there something more sinister at play? Detective Reeves realized he needed to investigate Olivia Hartley more closely. To the public eye, Olivia seemed like the grieving bride. In interviews, she appeared devastated, pleading for Michael's safe return. Her apparent anguish drew sympathy from both the community and the media. Yet, as the investigation deepened, inconsistencies in her story began to surface. A breakthrough came when detectives discovered financial records showing large sums of money being withdrawn from Michael's accounts in the weeks leading up to the wedding. Although these transactions were authorized using Michael's credentials, the timing and amounts were suspicious. When confronted, Olivia claimed ignorance, stating that Michael handled all their finances. Further investigation into Olivia's background led to a startling revelation. Olivia Hartley was not who she claimed to be. Fingerprint analysis showed that she was actually Sarah Blackwood, a woman reported missing from Portland, Oregon, over a decade ago. This discovery shocked the community. How could the beloved elementary school teacher, known for her kindness and dedication, be living under a false identity? The truth, as investigators would soon find, was a dark and twisted tale of deception spanning years. Sarah Blackwood had grown up in a troubled home in Portland. Her father, a prominent businessman, had been emotionally and physically abusive. At 18, Sarah disappeared, leaving a note saying she couldn't endure the abuse any longer. The case went cold, and Sarah Blackwood was presumed dead. But she hadn't died. She had reinvented herself as Olivia Hartley, moving to California and carefully constructing a new identity. She met Michael Anderson in college and over time had created an elaborate web of lies to conceal her true past. The pressing question was whether Michael had discovered the truth about his bride. And if he had, what had happened to him? As the investigation continued, more disturbing details emerged. Forensic analysis of the couple's shared computer revealed searches for ways to disappear without a trace in the weeks before the wedding. Although these searches had been deleted, cyber experts managed to recover the data. Additionally, security camera footage from a gas station just outside Carmel showed a woman matching Olivia's description buying a prepaid cell phone and a large sum of cash the day before the wedding. Confronted with this evidence, Olivia broke down and admitted she had been living under a false identity. However, she denied any involvement in Michael's disappearance, tearfully explaining that she had planned to tell him the truth after the wedding. She insisted that she loved him and was terrified of losing him if he learned about her past. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the case of the missing groom continued to baffle investigators. Despite exhaustive searches and countless interviews, no trace of Michael Anderson was found. The once idyllic town of Carmel by the sea was now at the heart of a national media frenzy. Theories ran wild. Some believed Michael had discovered Olivia's true identity and fled in shock, while others speculated that Olivia, fearing exposure, had orchestrated Michael's disappearance. The most sinister theories suggested that Michael had been murdered and his body hidden somewhere in the vast wilderness around Carmel. The case took another unexpected turn 6 months after the ill-fated wedding when a weathered backpack was discovered in a remote area of the Baranda Trail in Big Sur, about 30 miles south of Carmel. Inside the backpack were men's clothes, a large amount of cash, and a passport belonging to Michael Anderson. This discovery reignited the investigation. Search teams once again combed the rugged terrain of Big Sur, hoping to find some trace of Michael. Search dogs were brought in, but no human remains were found. The location of the backpack suggested that Michael had at least made it this far on his own. Forensic analysis of the backpack and its contents raised more questions than answers. While the passport and clothes were confirmed to be Michael's, there were no fingerprints or DNA evidence to verify if Michael himself had placed the backpack there. The cash inside totaled over $50,000, leading investigators to believe Michael had planned his own disappearance. As the investigation continued, detectives uncovered more about Olivia's past life as Sarah Blackwood. They discovered that her father, Robert Blackwood, had died under suspicious circumstances just months before Sarah's disappearance. Although officially ruled an accident, there had been whispers of foul play. Could Sarah have been involved in her father's death? This revelation added another layer of complexity to the case. If Michael had discovered Olivia's true identity and her possible involvement in her father's death, it might explain his sudden disappearance. Fear for his safety could have driven him to flee. But why hadn't Michael come forward if he was alive and hiding? Surely he would have seen the media coverage of his disappearance. His silence was both puzzling and troubling. As the one-year anniversary of Michael's disappearance approached, the case had become one of the most talked-about mysteries in recent memory. True crime podcasts dissected every detail, internet sleuths analyzed the evidence, and the residents of Carmel by the sea lived under the shadow of an unresolved tragedy. Olivia, or Sarah as she was now known, remained in Carmel, living under constant scrutiny. She had lost her teaching job when her true identity was revealed and found herself ostracized by the community that once embraced her. Despite her insistence on innocence and her claims of loving Michael, the ongoing investigation and media attention took a heavy toll on her. Once vibrant and outgoing, Olivia now faced an uncertain future amid the echoes of a case that continued to baffle and haunt everyone involved. Olivia withdrew from the world, rarely stepping outside her home. Those who caught a glimpse of her noted that she appeared far older than her actual age, weighed down by her hidden secrets and an uncertain future. In a surprising twist, 18 months after Michael vanished, Olivia contacted Detective Reeves. She claimed to have remembered something that could be crucial for solving the case. During a detailed interview, Olivia revealed that in the weeks before the wedding, Michael had been behaving strangely. He was making secret phone calls and seemed preoccupied and nervous. This new information prompted investigators to review Michael's phone records from before his disappearance. They found several calls to a number in Mexico. Tracing this number led them to a small beachside hotel in Tulum, a well-known tourist spot on the Yucatan Peninsula. Detective Reeves and his team traveled to Tulum in hopes of cracking the case. At the hotel, they showed Michael's picture to the staff. To their surprise, one employee recognized him. The staff member revealed that someone resembling Michael had stayed at the hotel for several months under the name David Green. The employee said David had arrived alone, paid in cash, and kept to himself. He left suddenly about 6 months ago and had no forwarding address. The employee recalled him because he always seemed on edge, as if he was escaping from something. This new lead complicated the investigation. If Michael had indeed fled to Mexico, it suggested his disappearance might have been voluntary. But why would he leave behind his life, family, and new wife? And where did he go after leaving Tulum? As news of this development spread, public opinion began to shift. Many who had sympathized with Olivia now questioned her. If Michael had left on his own, could it be because he discovered something about her? What had once seemed like a potential murder mystery now looked more like a story of betrayal and deceit. Back in Carmel, Olivia faced increased scrutiny. She insisted she knew nothing about Michael's plans or whereabouts, but few believed her. Her history of deceit made it hard for people to trust her. The case took another dramatic turn when detectives following the Mexico lead found that a man matching Michael's description had crossed the border into Belize 3 months after leaving Tulum. After that, the trail went cold again. As the second anniversary of Michael's disappearance approached, the case remained unsolved. Michael Anderson had disappeared without a trace, leaving behind a tangled web of lies, unanswered questions, and a community forever changed by the events of that ill-fated wedding night. Carmel by the Sea became divided. Some saw Olivia as a victim, someone whose past had caught up with her in a harsh way. Others viewed her as a schemer who had driven her husband away. The truth, as often happens, likely lay somewhere in between. Unable to endure the constant scrutiny and gossip, Olivia eventually left Carmel. She moved to a small town in Northern California, trying once again to start fresh. But the shadow of her past and the mystery of Michael's disappearance continued to haunt her. Michael's family, particularly his parents, Thomas and Margaret Anderson, were left in a state of ongoing uncertainty. They couldn't mourn their son due to the lack of proof of his death, yet they couldn't hold out hope for his return as the years passed without any news. They became advocates for missing persons, channeling their grief into assisting other families facing similar distress. The case of the missing groom became a cautionary tale, highlighting how darkness can lurk beneath the surface, even in the most picturesque places. It sparked discussions about identity, trust, and the secrets we keep from those closest to us. Over time, the mystery of Michael Anderson's disappearance became a part of local lore in Carmel by the Sea. Tour guides would point out the Carmel Mission Basilica, not only for its historical significance but also as the site of the wedding that led to one of the most perplexing disappearances in recent memory. Occasionally, new leads would surface, briefly reviving interest in the cold case. A man in Costa Rica who looked like Michael and a woman in Australia who claimed to have dated someone matching his description were investigated, but none led to Michael. 5 years after his disappearance, on what would have been Michael and Olivia's wedding anniversary, a mysterious package arrived at the Monterey County Sheriff's Office. Inside was a USB drive containing a video file. The video showed Michael, now older and weary, sitting on a beach at sunset. In the video, Michael finally spoke out. He explained that he had discovered Olivia's true identity before the wedding and was deeply hurt by the deception. He had intended to confront her after the ceremony. However, as he delved deeper into Sarah Blackwood's past, he found something even more disturbing. Michael claimed he had discovered evidence suggesting Olivia was involved in her father's death. Fearing for his safety, he made the difficult decision to disappear. He apologized for the pain he had caused his family but insisted he had no other choice. The video concluded with Michael saying that by the time anyone saw it, he would be in a place they could never find. He asked everyone to move on and find peace. The revelation caused another wave of shock in the community. It confirmed that Michael was alive when the video was made, but also raised new questions. Where was Michael now? And was Olivia really involved in her father's death? Investigators reopened the case of Robert Blackwood's death, looking at it with new perspectives. They found inconsistencies in the original investigation, suggesting that the accidental death ruling might have been hasty. However, without concrete evidence, they couldn't prove any wrongdoing. Olivia, faced with Michael's accusations, continued to claim her innocence. She admitted to fleeing an abusive home but firmly denied any involvement in her father's death. The years of living under a false identity had taken a toll on her, leaving her a shadow of her former self. As the case faded from the headlines once more, the residents of Carmel by the Sea were left to reflect on the nature of truth, identity, and the secrets everyone carries. The charming town, with its picturesque cottages and stunning views, would forever be linked to a mystery that defied easy answers. Michael and Olivia's story became a modern legend, a tale of love, betrayal, and the extremes people will go to escape their past. It served as a reminder that sometimes the most shocking secrets are hidden behind the facade of normalcy. In the end, the case of the vanishing groom left a lasting impact on everyone involved. It changed lives, ruined reputations, and forced a community to confront uncomfortable truths. The beautiful coastline of Carmel by the Sea, once a symbol of peace and romance, now held a darker significance for those familiar with the case. As years turned into decades, the mystery of Michael Anderson's disappearance continued to fascinate the public. The case inspired numerous books, documentaries, and even a Hollywood film, each adding new layers to the story and blurring the lines between fact and fiction. In Carmel by the Sea, the case's impact persisted long after the media frenzy had subsided. The Carmel Mission Basilica, once a popular wedding venue, saw a decline in ceremonies as couples hesitated to tempt fate. The Carmel Valley Ranch, where the ill-fated reception took place, eventually rebranded itself in hopes of distancing from the infamous disappearance. 20 years after Michael vanished, a new breakthrough renewed interest in the cold case. A marine biologist exploring a remote underwater cave off the coast of Belize made an astonishing discovery. The researcher found a waterproof case lodged in a crevice, containing a journal with entries dated over several years. The handwriting matched Michael Anderson's. The journal provided insight into Michael's life on the run. He wrote about his constant fear of being found, his regret for leaving his family, and his ongoing struggle with Olivia's deception. The entries revealed a man torn between his desire for safety and his longing for his former life. Most intriguingly, the final entry, dated just 2 years before the journal was discovered, hinted at Michael's plan to confront his past. He wrote about intending to return to the United States and face the consequences of his actions. However, the journal ended abruptly, leaving investigators wondering what happened to Michael after he wrote that last entry. The discovery of the journal reignited public interest in the case. Speculations surged about Michael's fate. Had he followed through on his plan to return? If so, why hadn't he appeared? Or had something happened to him before he could make his way back? Olivia, now in her late 40s, had crafted a quiet and solitary life in a small Oregon town, ironically not far from her childhood home as Sarah Blackwood. She had reclaimed her birth name legally and worked as a freelance writer, deliberately avoiding any media attention. When news broke of the discovery of Michael's journal, reporters once again sought her out. Through her lawyer, Olivia issued a brief statement expressing hope that the journal might finally provide answers about Michael's whereabouts. She reiterated her innocence regarding both Michael's disappearance and her father's death, pleading for privacy as the investigation continued. Detective James Reeves, now retired, followed the developments with keen interest. The case had been a defining moment in his career, and even in retirement, he found it impossible to let go. With the current investigator's permission, Reeves volunteered his time to assist in analyzing the new evidence. As he meticulously reviewed the journal entries, he noticed something that others had overlooked. Certain phrases and references seemed to be coded messages. Drawing on his years of experience, Reeves began to decipher what he believed was a hidden message within the text. After weeks of painstaking work, Reeves made a breakthrough. He believed he had uncovered coordinates hidden in the journal entries, pointing to a location in the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, not far from where Sarah Blackwood had grown up. A team of investigators was dispatched to this location. Following a grueling trek through rough terrain, they discovered a small, abandoned cabin. Inside, they found evidence suggesting someone had been living there until recently. Among the items left behind was a laptop computer. Forensic analysis of the laptop revealed a wealth of information, including detailed files about Robert Blackwood's death. These files indicated that Robert's death had indeed been a murder, not the accident initially ruled. However, the files also exonerated Sarah, Olivia, pointing instead to a conspiracy involving Robert's business partners. The laptop also contained a video file similar to the one Michael had sent years earlier. In this new video, a visibly aged Michael Anderson explained everything. He revealed that after discovering the truth about Robert Blackwood's death, he had faked his own disappearance to protect both himself and Olivia while he gathered evidence. Michael detailed how he had spent years investigating the case, always staying one step ahead of those who might want to silence him. The journal and coded messages were all part of his elaborate plan to expose the truth. In the video, Michael expressed deep remorse for the pain he had caused his family and Olivia. He explained that he had initially fled out of fear and confusion but realized he couldn't return without endangering those he loved. The video ended with Michael's intention to turn himself in and present his evidence to the authorities, hoping to bring closure to the case and allow everyone to move on. Tragically, Michael never made it to the authorities. 2 days after the discovery of the cabin, a body was found washed up on a beach near Eureka, California. Dental records confirmed it was Michael Anderson. The autopsy revealed that Michael had died from a gunshot wound. This development opened a new chapter in the already complex case. Had Michael been killed by those involved in the conspiracy he had uncovered, or was there yet another twist? As news of Michael's death spread, Carmel by the Sea once again found itself in the spotlight. The tragic end to Michael's case brought a somber mood to the town. Many residents who had once harshly judged him for his disappearance now felt a deep sadness for the life he had lived in hiding and the circumstances of his death. Olivia, upon learning of Michael's death, was devastated. In her first public appearance in years, she gave a heartfelt interview expressing her grief and regret. She spoke of the love she and Michael had shared, the pain of their separation, and her hope that the full truth would finally come to light. The evidence Michael had gathered led to a series of high-profile arrests and convictions. Several prominent business figures were implicated in Robert Blackwood's death and other criminal activities. This revelation sent shockwaves through the corporate world and led to calls for greater oversight and transparency in business practices. For Olivia, this meant she was finally cleared of any wrongdoing in her father's death. The revelation that she had been a victim rather than a perpetrator led to a shift in public opinion. Many who had vilified her over the years now saw her in a new light, as a woman who had suffered greatly due to circumstances beyond her control. In the wake of these revelations, Olivia chose to honor Michael's memory by establishing the Michael Anderson Foundation for Truth and Justice. The foundation aimed to help individuals who had been wrongly accused or victimized by corporate crime. Through this work, Olivia found a measure of peace and purpose. The case of Michael and Olivia evolved from a sensational true crime story into a cautionary tale about the dangers of deception, the far-reaching consequences of corporate greed, and the resilience of the human spirit. It sparked important conversations about identity, trust, and the nature of truth in the modern world. In Carmel by the Sea, life gradually returned to normal, but the town was forever changed by the events that had unfolded. The case became part of the town's history, told to visitors and passed down through generations. As years went by, the once shocking tale of the vanishing groom became a legend, a story that encapsulated the complexities of human nature and the unpredictable twists of fate. It served as a reminder that sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction and that even in the most idyllic settings, darkness can lurk beneath the surface. The beaches of Carmel, with their golden sands and crashing waves, continued to attract visitors from around the world. Yet for those who knew the case, the picturesque scenery held a deeper meaning. It stood as a testament to the enduring mystery of the human heart and the secrets we all carry within us. In the end, the case of Michael Anderson and Olivia Blackwood remained a poignant reminder of the power of love, the weight of secrets, and the unexpected ways in which our lives can be forever altered by the choices we make. Their story, with all its twists and turns, became a modern-day epic of love and loss, deception and redemption, a tale that would be remembered long after the protagonists were gone. As the sun set over Carmel by the sea, casting long shadows across the beach where Michael and Olivia had once walked hand in hand, the town settled into a peaceful quiet. The mystery that had defined it for so long had finally been laid to rest, but its legacy would live on. It served as a haunting reminder of the thin line between truth and deception and the enduring power of a love that defied all expectations. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling journey into the mysterious case of the vanishing groom. We hope this story has captivated your imagination and sparked curiosity about the complexities of human nature and the unpredictable twists of fate. Your support motivates us to continue bringing you compelling stories that explore the darker sides of human experience while also highlighting resilience and the pursuit of truth. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and remember that sometimes the most shocking secrets are hidden in plain sight. We look forward to welcoming you back for more intriguing tales in our upcoming videos.